Wingman of Reddit, what crazy things have you done to get your friend laid? In our dorm all of the window screens were fastened by screws. There were no female visitors allowed after 10:00 p.m. I removed the screws from my ground floor window and passed the word to the entire dorm that any visitors were welcome to pass through. It wasn't long before I had girls knocking on my window at all hours of the night. I would remove the screen, open the window, help them climb through, send them in the right direction, and replace the screen and close the window. The resident assistants never knew, as my room was directly opposite from the front office. So, you could say I was a wingman for the entire dorm. It sounds like an underground railroad for promiscuous coeds. I had a party at my house and a lot of people ended up crashing there because they were way too drunk to drive home. All the rooms were occupied except for mine. My buddy met this girl and really wanted to hook up with her but had nowhere to do it. So I offered up my lovely, innocent bed to spread his baby gravy all over. I slept on the ground in the other room and woke up the next morning with a note thanking me, $20 bill, and my sheets in the washing machine. That guy took your bro gesture and gave you another back. What a bro. Buddy of mine was talking to a girl who was making not so subtle hints that he should get over there. He unfortunately was about 90 minutes by car away and didn't even have a car. As it was 1 AM he didn't even have public transport to avail himself of. He mentioned his dilemma to a small social group and I decided he was losing his V card that night. I drove 20 minutes to his house, then 90 up the coast to drop him off near 3 AM. Mission was a complete success. I only get partial credit for this one because I didn't actually do anything. But it's still my favorite. So, every year a bunch of friends and I go to DragonCon in Atlanta. Last year I couldn't go because I was deployed in Afghanistan. So my buddy decided to get a 5-foot tall print of a picture of me, paste it to a board, and carry it around the whole time. Apparently it was a great conversation starter and the whole "I'm bringing my friend here in spirit" thing played extremely well. He ended up sleeping with some girl dressed as Lara Croft. TLDR. My buddy used a 5-foot tall picture of me to bang Lara Croft. My dorm neighbor was having his girlfriend over but had nowhere to fool around since his roommate also had a girl over. Being nice I gave him my room and planned to sleep in my other neighbor's room. I slept in my neighbor on the other side's room until he starts having phone sex with his girlfriend. I ended up sleeping in the hallway on the floor with a pillow and a quilt. Edit. Clarity. Edit 2. All these people having sex. And you are just sleeping in a hallway. Not really crazy but I was always in on some of the magic tricks that a buddy would do at a bar. This involved stuffing a card into a girl's purse with her back turned to me pretending I was just a stranger who miraculously has her card in my coat pocket. This system actually worked to some degree. So are you Ted or Barney? This girl was really into guys. So I kissed my friend in front of her. Edit. Didn't expect any attention on this. Don't lie. You liked it. At a bar and saw my friend checking out a pretty busty girl. I went over to her, bought her a drink, told her it was from him. She looked over at him and smiled. I made small talk for a while and could tell she was into him and she was the kind of girl that would have a one night stand. I could tell I wasn't doing much though so it was time to bring out the big guns. I topped off my drink and just told her bluntly, "This guy's into you. He's got a big dick," and walked away. He got laid that night. Piggyback carried a girl to a friend's house about half a mile away. Just kind of dropped her off as soon as we got in. Crashed on the couch and said, "You two kids have fun." We're like some kind of FCK taxi. Did she lose her wheelchair or something? Holds them together. Now FCK. I kissed my friend so that a girl would go home with him. Friend successfully banged the hot chick. Wait. Are you the hot chick? I let a gay dude play with my nipples so my gay buddy could hook up with his friend. Didn't know gay dudes were into nipple play. Edit. I'm a straight guy BTW. A large group of us decided it would be fun to break into an outdoor pool late at night and go for a swim. A girl that one of my buddies had been interested in for some time was going to be there. So naturally he made an appearance too. They ended up chatting for quite some time. And it looked like they were going to go home together. The night started to die down. And the only people left were myself, my buddy, the girl, and another friend of mine. As we're preparing to leave the pool, the police show up, just one car. So a couple of officers. And are about to arrest us. I can see the massive look of disappointment on my buddy's face. So I take a deep breath and shout wild card bitches. Toss a huge bin of pool toys into the pool. And jump on top of the police cruiser naked. Fortunately, both of the officers chased after me. And my buddy and the girl managed to run away. They're hooked up that night. And have been dating for 8 months now. TL. Till my friend Zush Tty Wingmen joined a racist, nationalist, homophobic youth organization. It had certain controversial views on border protection and homosexual marriage that I was ignorant of, so she could score some ignorant douchnizzle. I'm Chinese Australian. I basically joined the group to tell my own people they should go home. Edit. It was university group with vague links to the Australia First Party pile. I'm Chinese Australian. I basically joined the group to tell my own people they should go home. You win this thread. Distracto FK'd his friend so my best friend could sneak off into the spare bedroom with him. Worst lay ever. He couldn't get hard enough for the condom, and when he finally did, he kind of just humped at me limply until he came. Did I mention we were on the floor of the study? His cat's litter box was a foot from my face. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Resting parrot. Whoa. Sounds like the guy who FK'd probably has a wingman story from the opposite side. Probably goes something. I couldn't get hard because I was staring at a pile of my cat's tea the entire time. Jesus. What was I thinking? I started talking to a group of attractive girls at a party shortly before introducing my girlfriend. After a short while I began asking them about college sports. Do any of you watch college basketball? Them. No. Not really. Me. So you've never seen Princeton play? Them. No. Me. So you don't recognize that dude over there? Points to my tall friend Justin. Them. No. Should we? Me. To friend. Justin. Come here. Justin. Yes. Me. I was just talking to these girls about how you got a full ride to Princeton as their starting point guard. This was before smartphones. His other friends kept coming up to him congratulating him on his scholarship while he has a girl on each knee. One rubbing his shoulders. And 2 more surrounding him all night. TL. Ivers don't give athletic scholarships. I stole a lady's bike. My friend was into a lady and the 3 of us ended up drinking late one night. She was with a bike while we 2 were on foot. At the end of I stole the lady's bike so that they would have to figure things out by themselves. Allegedly they were making out on the street corner before I was out of sight. They date for 6 months. Job well done. With buddy at a bar. Meet a guy and girl we thought were a couple. Be social and find out not. The girl is clearly interested in my buddy. So I team up with other dude to go hunt. Find out he's gay. And really likes my style. I owed my buddy big time for past events and he played the card. So I pretended to be curious with the other dude. Until the end of the night when my friend left with a girl. Then I calmly explained the situation. To which he responded, you give me a kiss right now. And I won't call her and cockblock your friend. Bro powers activate. Gave the dude a power kiss. He loved it. I realized how awful beards are to be face smashed against. Confirmed my heterosexuality and went home alone. Bro. You're a damn good wingman and friend. I was with my buddy and I introduced him to a friend of mine. We were all in my basement hanging out and I noticed them start to get close on the couch. I was sitting at the computer. Made an excuse to go upstairs and turned on Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On before exiting the room. They had SX while I was upstairs watching The Daily Show with the volume really loud so my parents wouldn't hear the shenanigans going on downstairs. A friend of mine was chatting with a girl I know at a party. She was flirting but he sadly isn't the type to take any hints. I went up to them and gave her a kiss on the lips and said pass it on before leaving them alone. 2 minutes later they were making out on the couch. My buddy and I were drinking at this rural cemetery and he brought this girl that he hadn't quite been able to get with yet. So he gets her drinking and she gets horny and the problem is I'm there and they have no privacy. In my PRN riddled brain I think well maybe I can get in on this but my buddy comes up to me and asks me if I could go up to the front of the cemetery and stay there until they are finished. So I sat in a dark rural cemetery by myself for 20 minutes drinking Jägermeister and contemplating jerking off to the sounds of my buddy and this girl f***ing. I didn't jerk off, I just cried on the inside and drank my booze. Best lay he ever had and I third wheeled it in the dark. Walked 5 miles in a foot of January snow at 3 in the morning. Would still do it again. But I would walk 25 miles. And I would walk 25 more. Just to be that man who walk a 4. Girl. I'll only FCK you if your friend walks 5 miles in a foot of January snow at 3 in the morning. Friend and dedicated wingman nods. Guy. Deal. Double date. I got stuck with 2 hours of listening to a frat guy talk about all the cool moves and kills he did while playing Call of Duty. I thought he was really lonely until I suggested we change the subject and he started talking about lacrosse during a hand job. He just really liked listening to how awesome he was. For the first time in my life. I wished I had a penis so I could stuff it in his mouth and shut him the FCK up. You asked him to change topics during the hand job? I had a friend that called into work. Broke into my house. Then washed my sheets and pillowcases and cleaned up a bit when he heard that a girl I was really into for a long time had finally agreed to come over shortly after work. I couldn't take off work to get home early and wouldn't have had enough time to do so otherwise. Still my best friend to this day. Even though it didn't work out with the girl. I told a girl that my friend only had 2 months to live and that it would make him happy if she showed interest in him. My friend was actually a pretty attractive guy. So she took this request and FK'd his brains out. Edit. Dang. My top comment ever is now like the most maniacal thing I've ever done. Comma and FK'd his brains out. So your friend did end up dying then. Was out with a female buddy and she said this guy is checking me out. But I think he thinks we are a couple. I waited until he was walking by, then I jumped out near him and starting singing "Oh I'm gay. Oh so pretty and oh so gay." He asked for her number a few minutes later and I gave her a high five. Plot twist. One time. My best friend and I were at a really packed bar. Hanging out by the pool table. Pretty soon. A married couple starts playing pool with us and shooting the shitty. They seemed pretty cool. After a while. The husband went to the bar to buy us all around. As soon as he left, the wife pulled my buddy under the pool table and started blowing him, in the middle of a packed bar. No less. I, being the good wingman, proceeded to keep the husband away while this was going on. It eventually got to look like a blocking drill at football practice. But I was determined not to let this dude catch them and start a fight or something. Well, the bouncers saw me and threw me out. About 2 minutes later, my friend and the couple came out, laughing their asses off. Apparently, I had somehow missed the part of the conversation in which they revealed themselves to be swingers and the guy was just trying to enjoy the show his wife was putting on for him and I totally cock-blocked them. I'll tell my wingman story here. To not write a wall. I'll put it simple. He was hitting on a girl. I was down after losing my ex. Girl is a beautiful redhead, can't post pic. Sadly. And I got interested on her. He noticed it. He gave up on her. And introduced us. I'm dating her for 3 months now. I pretended to be gay so my friend could bang Up's mom. Something Call of Duty. Drove my drunk friend and an amorous drunk girl to 2 different gas stations to get condoms. Quickstar is owned by a Catholic who doesn't believe in condoms. Her name was Danielle. I've never quite worked out whether the never stick your dick in crazy rule has higher precedence than the bro code or not. Existing as comparison. Oh. I tied her up. Gave up a girl I'm still in love with. Long story short. He wouldn't date her because I had feelings for her. Even though she had feelings for him. I encouraged him to go after her. He did. I'm still close with both. And it kinda hurts. Edit. Started watching him just because of the multiple TED comments I got. Hits a little too close to home. Grabbed a tit so my friend could punch me in the face and take the girl home to console her. Classic Back to the Future move. Edit. I get IT. It's a sleazy thing to do. The subject of the credit is craziest. Not most moral. It's not a go-to move. We drunkenly concocted the plan and it somehow worked. I probably should have had my ass beat. I hope he let you do the same later. Probably crazy for a certain part of the heterosexual male population. But I have been to a few gay bars with a friend of mine and winged for him. He is extremely specific in his tastes in gay men. So if somebody isn't catching his fancy I kind of come in and distract. What I have learned is bears f***ing love me. Oh. And I learned I like to watch drag shows. I'm not getting any sort of sexual thrill out of it. But goddamn is it a fun environment. My best friend was born with his heart outside of his body. His scars are crazy. As far as the girls we met growing up. He took a bullet for me and I owe him my life. He's a hero lol. I'm a better text flirterester than my buddy. So one time I took his phone and pretended to be him. After I sealed the deal. Off he went to meet up with her. Turns out she was actually just really easy. So it had little to do with my phone skills. Still. Good times. A couple weeks ago I shoved a cucumber up my butt so my buddy's girlfriend would let him try anal. What? Told a girl my mate was in a band that had played a gig to 5,000 people a couple of nights before. That he skydived. Flew planes and was a semi-professional photographer. She gave him her number and rang him later in the night. But he fobbed her off so I never wingmaned him again. Prick. You all get upvoted because as a wingman your work deserves to be recognized and appreciated. Thank you for your hard work and sacrifice. Doing what must be done so that a friend can have a good time. You are the friends we need. But not the friends we deserve. I love you all. My roommate was the wingman. He told stories of how I could FCK a girl lying on her stomach. They would come up to me and whisper, I hear you can FCK a girl lying on her stomach. It didn't seem an extraordinary act then. It doesn't seem an extraordinary act now. But damned if I didn't prove it to every girl that asked. Thank you. John. Thank you. I haven't had to do the actual work to get them laid. But I have found playing Hey. Have you met my friend? Works out fairly well. I let my buddy punch me in the face for calling this girl's friend a fat CNT who is overprotective of her best friend to protect her own self-esteem. I mean, I would have said it anyway. But if my friend got SX as a result, then job's a good one. I'm not sure if we agreed on the exact plan beforehand. But he told me to big me up for the hot one. I certainly did that. Even though it wasn't my intention. I was both an arsehole and a hero in friends' eyes for a good 2 days. I agree with the first part. The chubster didn't even truly deserve it. I just did it because I hadn't been a complete dick for a while. Being an arsehole was the most effective wingman maneuver I have done. I sat in gum. I FK'd her fat friend. Ended up having a much better time than my buddy. Fatties try harder. They need to prove themselves worthy. At a Halloween party. Everyone's trashed and hitting on my best friend's flirtatious crush. Friend and I spent 7 hours keeping the drunk prowlers off her. Mostly by assuring them we're good to drive and she doesn't need a ride from them. But also by involving myself in a lesbian cuddle session with her. I'm straight, to act as a human wall between her and the horn dogs. Next Halloween party. Best friend and I are dating. Apparently at the previous years. He realized I was a better friend and a better match than the crush. Now he gets laid all the time.